Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports, and we got a pretty cool story for you here today. Now, I'll tell you right now, yes, some of these pictures are pretty crappy, but when I got to this location, I was told the guy knew I was coming. Turns out he really didn't know I was coming and wasn't happy about me taking pictures when I pulled my camera out, so I automatically reached into my pocket and turned my button camera on, but here we go. That is an unrestored 71 Cuda. This whole place was full of them. It was packed. It was like an old dealership. I mean, you can see some of the cars beside it I didn't take pictures of. There was Dusters and Demons in there, but this guy really focused on the 71 Cudas, and that car is what it is. It's unrestored. You know, you can always tell what people were thinking, or I can after years of experience, on what people were thinking when they were picking these cars up. And this guy really wanted cars that were untouched. And yeah, this car might have had a repaint, but I don't know. That black lacquer paint really did look original. But you can definitely see the car had never been taken apart. As you go through these pictures, I haven't seen these pictures in 20 years, but 15, 20 years. But, you know, I remember doing this thing. And I don't know, the guy was just so weird about me taking pictures. I was on a trip to Wisconsin, and by this was like probably day 8 of me being out there. I was already tired. I already wanted to go home, but, you know, job's a job. And I thought this was a really good Tales from the Bush to do because it gives you a chance to look at some cars that were unrestored and untouched and, you know, get an idea of, you know, what these things actually look like. I mean, yeah, that's been repainted. Look at the engine compartment's white. Obviously, the car was white, so my bad. The car's definitely been repainted. But it looks definitely like it was a on-body repaint. The car hadn't been taken apart. They just painted over everything, taped it all off. And by looking at that trunk, not everybody knew what they were doing. That's a lot of junk paint in that trunk. But surprisingly, these cars were all solid. I've said a few times, you know, they didn't use salt on the roads back in the days and in these northern places because most of the roads were sand. How solid that car is. But, you know, lots of people have corrected me in the comments and stuff. They didn't need to use salt on these old dirt roads up in these rural places. So a lot of these cars, surprisingly enough, I found more solid cars up north than I did down south. And you'd think with the hot weather that they would be rough down south. Look at that dash. That dash that's all cracked out. Somebody drilled some holes in that. I don't know what that is. But that's an interior that definitely hasn't been taken apart. Look at all the wear and tear. The wear on the instrument clutcher, the steering column. It's just nice to see these cars. The rust on the brake pedal there. But look at this plush interior. Now that has definitely been restored because they didn't come with plush interior. But boy, that looked really cool though. It was definitely a cool place to take some pictures of. I remember this trip really well. I don't know why the guy was acting so squirrely when he knew who I was. He recognized me. He shook my hand. He was excited. And as soon as I pulled out my camera, all crap just changed real quick. And I told him, I said, okay, I'll just, you know, take a look at your cars. And, you know, the deal goes out the window at that point. And, you know, a lot of the times he walked away and I was able to pull out my camera. And it's not being sneaky. The guy wanted me there. He just asked me to not take pictures. But, you know, I'm 3,000 miles away from home or whatever. And I didn't come all the way up there to not get any pictures. Look at this burnt orange Cuda. Ah, that thing was so cool. And it was super solid. The car was completely untouched, unrestored. Again, it could have been repainted, but that's still an unrestored car. And this car was straight. The way it came from the factory, that's the way you're looking at it. Wait until you see the interior. Absolutely crazy. Oh man, it's just super solid. Those quarters are solid, the car's solid. And you know, the guy knew what he was doing. When he collected these cars, he knew what he was doing. Look at the car. Look at that thing, man. So I get really excited when these cars are untouched like that because it's just like, you know, that's good groundwork to work with. So a car like this, let's talk about survivor cars. This I would consider a survivor car. Personally, if I bought this car, I would not even try to restore it. I would leave it like it is, drive it like it is. But this is a good example of this is where you're going to have to spend survivor car money. So, you know, when you got to pay survivor car money, you don't touch the car, in my opinion. You leave it the way it is. Because there's just no point in overpaying for a car. Overpaying means you're paying survivor car price for a car that you plan on taking apart. I don't feel you should go into it like that. You should go into it like, okay, this car is untouched, it's unrestored, and that's the way I'm going to let it sit. There are cars that, survivor cars that are pretty rough that need to be restored, but this one made it through the long haul, and it's still really good looking. So, in my opinion, if I would have bought this car, I wouldn't have restored it. Craziest thing is, the guy did want to sell these cars, and he only wanted 40 grand for this car. No, it's not a 426 Hemi 71 Cuda, but it is what it is. It's still a beautiful car. Look at that interior. Look at the carpet. Look at the seat tear. You can't fake that. You can't stage that. You can't make that stuff up. That car is untouched. The interior of it's really good condition, but it's untouched. This is the reason why I came back out of retirement and started Southern Bush Consulting, because a lot of people that are scammers out there that, you know, are not very truthful with people are starting to claim their cars. The survivor car word is so overused. Survivor car is not a car that was restored 20 years ago and still looks good. It's not a survivor car. This is a survivor car. This is a car that's never been taken apart. That's what a survivor car is. So, you know, I wanted to educate people on it so they don't get burned, because, you know, let's just take this 71 Cuda, beautiful car. I consider it a survivor car. Possible it's been repainted at one point, but I definitely could not see that. So I'm considering it a survivor car. Say the guy wanted 60, or I said he wanted 40, but let's say he wanted 60 grand for namesake. Look at that panel right there. It's all dirty and crap. Let's just say he wanted 60 grand and you're paying survivor car price for it. If this same car was not in quite the condition that it was in, and somebody still wanted 60 grand for it, don't pay survivor car price at that, because you're gonna have to take the car apart. You're gonna lose the car for 2 years. If you can even find a restoration shop that'll do it, it's gonna cost you 40, 50 grand. So now you're into the car for 110 grand, and all you got the 71 383 Cuda. You're never gonna get that money out of there. You're gonna lose your shirt. And the scams that were going on out there, I was just trying to help this one customer. I had no intention of coming out of retirement. I absolutely did not. I did what I did. I loved what I did, and it was over. This customer that came out of the works was a whale. I call him a whale. He spent a lot of money with me, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't eat half the time. You know, now we're getting into the one car that was outside. And this guy's name was Jeff, and he was really smart and very successful in other works of life. Look at this car just sitting out in the woods, or out in the outside. But he said, you know, he called me and he's like, I know you're retired and I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm looking to build up a collection again, and I really would like your help. And he offered me enough money, and he really helped me out, because it's been tough. It's been really tough being retired. And all the cars that he was sending me, it's like, what the hell, man? That's not a survivor car. That's not a car that's been sitting in that garage for 30 years. I can see the tire tracks and stuff on the ground. This is staged. And I could not believe what I was seeing and what I was finding. It was absolutely insane, and it needed to be stopped. And I probably investigated 20, 25 cars for Jeff, and it just got worse and worse and worse as it was going on. And it was like, you know what? There's a problem here. Now, that car had a few dents on the side of it right there, but, you know, that's a 71 Cuda, super solid, unrestored. Wait till you see the interior of this car. So I felt I almost had no choice but to come out of retirement and start Southern Bush Consulting. So if you are, or you know somebody that's looking to buy a collector car, look at that. You can't fake that stuff. Not only is the dash cracked all to hell, somebody put 3 holes in it. I don't know what those holes are. But you can see where it says Cuda. Look at the back scratched up and stuff. Look at the paint. That's the original paint. That's a survivor car. That's where you pay a little bit extra money for it, but you don't restore it. I wouldn't restore it. You can see the moldings and stuff. Nobody has taken that car apart. Nobody's repainted that car. But you don't pay those collector car, survivor car monies for a car like this. And I think he wanted 40 grand for this car too. He wasn't asking a lot of money for these cars. So personally, in my opinion, if I bought this car, I wouldn't take it apart. I would leave it the way it is. You know, clean it up, shine it up. Definitely do all that. Touch-ups here and there. Look at a dash crack down the middle there. But you don't restore a survivor car. So if you were going to buy this car as a survivor car, and then you planned on taking it all apart, don't pay the extra money for that survivor, like I've said before. Just trying to help people out here. You just don't pay that extra money. So, before you start getting into the collector car, this is more for the younger people, the older guys that are messing with these cars. No, don't buy a car for extra money that you know that it's going to need to be restored, because first you need to find somebody that will restore the car, that can restore the car, that's decent at restoring cars. You tell me that's not a Survivor engine compartment. Look at how rough that is. But I still wouldn't restore the car. I wouldn't. This is why, for the people that are just getting into the collecting cars and stuff, this is going to be big in the future. They didn't make any more of these cars, and the more the time goes on, the more the people are going to realize that they didn't make any more of these cars. So I want to be able to help people so they don't get burned, so they make the best purchases possible. And I'm there from the beginning, from when you share the car with me until the car gets to your door. I know what it was like to get burnt, and it really sucks. It doesn't matter if you got money or not. So don't forget to click that button beside the share button for the super thanks if you can, to help out contribute. And hang on, we'll be more tales from Southern Bush Motorsports real soon.